In this video, we're talking about 5 reasons why people absolutely hate living in St. George and in southern Utah. What's going on, you guys? My name is Cody Steck, your favorite Utah realtor. Thank you for watching this video. If you're a new viewer, I want to welcome you to the channel. If you're a returning viewer, I want to welcome you back for another video on what it's like to live here in southern Utah. So in this one, like I said, we're talking about 5 different reasons why people absolutely hate living here. So if you're in a position where you're considering relocating here or buying a second home or an Airbnb or maybe a retirement home, these are going to be some things that you want to consider. These are things that people don't like about living here, and also reasons why people end up moving out of the area. Maybe they've grown up here and they move out, or maybe they purchased a retirement home or a second home, or maybe even a primary home here and then decided, hey, this really isn't for me, this is not the spot, and they've ended up moving away. So we're going to jump into that right here, right now. The first thing on our list is going to be the extreme heat that you get here in St. George. It's no secret that St. George is in a desert. You get the beautiful red rock, but with that comes the extreme heat during the summer months. In the summer months, it's not going to be uncommon to see temperatures at 105, 110, 115 for many months on end. From about, the beginning of June all the way through the end of August, it is easily going to be pushing over 100 degrees. Every single day. You might get a weird storm that kind of rolls through and brings temperatures down to like the 90s, maybe the high 80s, but almost every single day you're going to have sunshine, you're going to have very little cloud cover, and it's going to be hot, hot, hot. It's going to be 105, 110, and it's going to be a little bit miserable. Now, there is not a lot of humidity in the area, so it makes it a little bit more manageable than it would be, compared to like Texas or Florida, but it's no secret that the extreme heat causes a lot of people to drive them out of the area because they just can't take it. Now, the caveat to that some people might be looking at and saying, hey, I would go through 3 months of extreme heat to have 9 months of the rest of the year be actually really nice, right? Winters are very mild. Spring and fall are absolutely gorgeous. This is a large reason why I think people continue to live in areas, like Phoenix or like Las Vegas or like St. George for this exact reason. They're willing to go through a couple months of pain in order to have the rest of the year be absolutely gorgeous. Now, number 2 on our list is going to be something that's very important. Now, obviously, most people are going to have to go out there and make a living. So when it comes to job opportunities, this is something that St. George is actually kind of lacking in. St. George does not have a ton of opportunities out there compared to other major cities. I'd say something like 30 to 40% of the jobs in St. George right now is due to the construction boom that we're seeing. If you drive around the area, you are going to see new construction happening everywhere. You're going to see excavators, you're going to see electricians and plumbers and window guys and roofers and framers. You're going to see all of these construction guys working in the area. I don't have exact numbers, but I'm guessing somewhere between like 30 to 40% of the overall industry in one way or another. So that being said, the construction industry does take up a lot of jobs, and that drives a big part of the overall economy here. Now, of course, you're going to have your administrative jobs, right? You're going to have administrative and professional jobs. So this would include jobs such as like being a doctor or being an attorney or a dentist, or, working in an office as an administrative assistant, or, working at the pet shop or working at a restaurant, right? You've got all of those ancillary things, but as far as like one major industry, there's not really anything out there except for construction. So this is starting to change. We're starting to see new tech jobs come to the area. We're starting to see more industries come to this area because it's a great place to live, and it's easy to bring in good talent here to the area. But it's something that right now is a little bit of a concern, and this actually drives a lot of people away from the city just because of that lack of job opportunity. Now that kind of leads me into number 3, and make sure you watch this video all the way till the end because we're on number 3 here. We're going to talk about 4, 5, and 6, and we're going to talk about some really good stuff. We're going to talk about some major factors that you really need to consider, so make sure to watch this video all the way till the end. Now, as we do that, as I mentioned, please reach out to me, call, text, or email anytime. If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, my information will be here on the screen. I would love to have you reach out. I've had hundreds of people from all across the world, as well as right here in our own backyard, reach out and say, hey, Cody, I'm looking to buy, I'm looking to sell, I want to invest in real estate, and I'm their guy. I want to be your trusted real estate resource. I'm happy to, have a conversation about your situation and see what we can do for you. So number 3 on our list here today is going to be kind of in relation to number 2, right? We just talked about job opportunities, but number 3 is going to be people just don't really care for that smaller town feel. Now, the St. George metro area, the entire county of Washington is about 200,000 people. In the St. George metro, you're about 160 to 170,000, depending on which areas you include or don't include. But, overall, that's a smaller town feel. Now, of course, it's not like a small population of 500 people, but it's smaller than a big major city. So for some people, that's going to be a good thing. Other people are not going to like that. So So it kind of depends on you and your own individual situation and what you prefer. But some people just don't like that smaller town feel. They want the big city of Los Angeles or Salt Lake or Las Vegas or Phoenix or Miami or whatever it might be. And that's going to cause them to drive, to a different area. It's going to drive them out of the state, out of the area to those bigger cities. And to be honest, on one hand, I can kind of see the benefit to this because in the smaller areas like in St. George, yes, we do have an airport here, but you're not really going to get any direct flights except to some of the larger surrounding cities. You're not going to get a direct flight to the East Coast from the St. George airport. It just doesn't work that way. So that's something you have to consider. And there's just going to, be less opportunity, less entertainment options, less restaurants to choose from. There's going to be, some downsides to the smaller town. And that's just something you have to learn to deal with if you're living here. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to jump through number 4 here. Then we're going to talk about 5 and 6, and these are going to be big ones that you really have to consider. So number 4, sometimes you just need a change of scenery, right? Like we just talked about with the job opportunities and moving to a bigger city, the change of scenery can be nice. Some people who've grown up in the St. George area just want to get out of town. They want to get out of the desert, and maybe they want to move to the mountains. Maybe they want to move to the big city. Maybe they want to move to farmland. I don't know. They're looking for something different. They want to change of scenery, and that causes them to move out. So that's number 4, real quick one there. Now let's talk about number 5 and number 6. These are going to be big ones, like I said. Number 5 is no secret, but it's going to be the LDS or Mormon population. Now, Utah is kind of the birthplace or the headquarters, if you will, of the Mormon church. So yes, there are going to be a lot of Mormons in the area. Now, St. George historically was a very large Mormon population. That is changing. We don't have exact numbers on what the actual statistics are, but I have a pretty rough idea. I would actually argue that probably about 50% of the county is LDS population and that 50% is not, right? So it is going to be, roughly 50-50, which you could say on one hand is a pretty big majority, but then on the other hand, you could say, well, that is getting pretty diverse. And I think it's going to continue going in that direction. It's going to continue getting more diverse. You're going to see more people from different countries, different states moving into the area. And that's going to bring additional backgrounds and demographics here to the area, which I think ultimately will be a good thing. So because of those reasons, it's no secret that that should be something you should consider in your move here to St. George or even just to Utah if you're considering other areas. You definitely have to consider this, but in my opinion, I think it's really kind of a non-issue. Yes, you are going to notice it. You're going to see churches, you're going to see the temples, you're going to see these different things kind of stick out. You're going to see that Sundays are generally a little bit slower around town, but it's not going to be something that really affects you on a day-to-day basis. Nobody's going to stop you from doing what you want to do. You're going to have some neighbors that are LDS and they're probably going to be friendly. They're going to be nice. Maybe you're not hanging out with them every day. Maybe you are. I've got tons of friends who are and aren't LDS, and that's just the way it is. But, of course, there's going to be a little bit of separation there. There always naturally is, but at the end of the day, I really think it's a non-issue in my personal opinion, but definitely something worth considering if you haven't already done so. All right, now next up, this is going to be the big one, the big kahuna of this video. We have to talk about the cost of living. The cost of living here in St. George is quite expensive. When you really consider what the city is, what's there, what opportunities are there, and what it's like to live here, the cost of living is quite high. To be honest, housing is quite expensive in St. George. I have tons of people who move here and they say, holy crap, I can't believe I'm buying a home out in the middle of nowhere in the desert and I'm paying $800,000 for this home. And that's kind of just the reality of it. Now, of course, there are cheaper homes. You can find homes for $400,000, $500,000, $600,000, but you want a really nice big home. Yeah, it's going to be $700,000, $800,000, $900,000, and you can even find your luxury homes that are $2, $3, $4 million as well. So there's definitely a lot of money that's driven the cost of living up because people want to live here. It's still a fabulous place. There's lots to do. If you want to get outdoors, you want to live in a place that has mild winters and, really good weather mostly year round, other than number 1, the extreme heat that we talked about, this is going to be a great area for you. And so that's why people have come to the area, which has then driven prices up, especially when it comes to housing, whether it's paying a mortgage or paying for a house or it's paying rent. That cost of living has gone up and some people just don't want to deal with that, right? They want to move to a cheaper area. So based on how you're comparing it, how you're looking at it, of course, if you're coming from an area like California or New York or Boston, these other expensive areas, then St. George might look like a steal. But if you're moving here from the Midwest where it's super cheap, you might be looking at St. George and saying, yeah, there's no way I can afford that. No way I want to pay that. And it might not be a fit for you. Now, luckily, housing is probably the most expensive thing, especially when it comes to cost of living. The rest of the items, whether it's utilities or groceries or gas, things like that, all of that is going to be roughly the same as what you'd see in other parts of the country. So yes, it may be a little bit more expensive or a little bit cheaper just based on what areas you're looking at. But for the most part, the high cost of living that we see here in the area is largely due to the housing costs that we see in the area. There's lots of nice homes, and yes, those homes can be expensive, and that's what drives this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've had so many people who watch these videos who are not subscribed. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want more information on what it's like to live here in St. George. And before you go, please reach out to me, call, text, or email if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. I'd love to help you along in your journey. I want to be your trusted real estate resource of choice. My team and I, we service the entire state of Utah, and we want to help you through that process together. So with that being said, thanks for watching this video. We'll catch you in the next one.